Hey, everybody. What's up with y'all? What's up, geek readers? I hope y'all like that. As you can tell, you already know, Batman Day. So I know yesterday I was talking to you guys about Superman, all about how cool he is, his power, his weakness, different versions of him. But today we're here to talk about, you already know, the Dark Knight. Because why? Because I'm Batman. So, as you can tell, Batman is another one of my characters that I enjoy, I like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know a lot about Batman due to, all the movies he's appeared in, all the shows he's appeared in, even the video games, comic. You see most of his gear everywhere than you see most of any other character's gear because he's a very popular character. Batman's been around almost longer than Superman has, and he started his back in Detective Comics. So let me go ahead and give you my opinion on Batman, why I like him, his abilities, his weaknesses, where he started from, how important he is to the DC universe. So let me go ahead and tell you about his origin. So I know for those who know about his origin, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all anyway. So of course, we all know Batman lost his parents at a very young age, at the age of 8. He witnessed the death of his parents by the gun killer by the name of Joe Kittle, or no, I'm sorry, Joe Chill. His name is Joe Chill, which in some terms that he never was able to find his killer, where in some versions that he was able to find his killer, but we'll get into that. So this pretty much traumatized a young Bruce Wayne. Like he felt helpless. He felt as if he couldn't pretty much save his parents. And the last thing he can remember is the fact that him and his parents went to go to an opera, and I guess his parents decided to go down a dark alley, which I don't know why they decided to do that because it's not like crime didn't exist even before Batman showed up. Crime existed in Gotham City. Crime existed in Gotham City, and it was a lot of looting, a lot of robbing, a lot of killing. And for some odd reason, his parents decide, well, actually, his dad decided, hey, let's go down this dark alley. It's close, it's closer. And they're like, oh yeah, let's do that. And then next thing you know, some guy in a trench coat with a hat pulled up a gun, wanted to rob him. Of course, his dad tried to stop him. He got shot. His mother tried to protect Bruce, but she ended up getting shot as well. And I guess before she got shot, the thief tried to take her pearls away from her neck, but that didn't work. So they both end up getting killed, traumatizing Bruce to where a young Jim Gordon, which I'm going to tell y'all who he is, Jim Gordon was able to find Bruce next to the death of his parents. So he took him in. And with Jim Gordon, he is what you would call a loyal, good cop. Because, even back then, Gotham had dirty cops. But Gordon was one of the trustworthy, one of the good cops, one of the on the books type of cops. So, like I said, I'm going to get to him in just a little bit. So, Bruce he made a mission where he wanted to conquer his fears. He was scared that he couldn't approach the man responsible for taking his parents away. So when he became a teenager or so, he decided to travel the world to learn martial arts, to study on criminology, to study on how to take down the same people responsible for taking away what made his childhood the best. And yes, his childhood ended the day his parents died. And ever since then, Bruce's persona changed. Like, it's like a darkness filled him up inside. Like he literally was angry. He was out for vengeance. And so with that, it was as if like he was changing his identity. And so after Bruce decided to travel around the world, getting trained by the world's greatest martial artists, it was one time he even joined the League of Assassins to learn techniques from them. And by the time he finished his training, he decided to come back to Gotham where he wanted to, run his company. But before he did that, he realized that crime has escalated in his city and then he needed to do something about it. So he sat in his room one day and was trying to figure out a way to take down, thugs and crime bosses and all that. But he wanted something to symbolize that whenever he shows up, it would have instilled fear into his enemies. So one day while he was in his house, he was just coming up with ideas. The next thing you know, a bat just happened to show up out of his belfry. Yeah, bat out of his giant clock, whatever it was, it flew out and started, circling around Bruce to where he was a little, I ain't gonna say he was scared, but it like surprised him. But then when he saw the bat, he was like, it's funny how something like that could scare someone. So he got the idea that, okay, I want to dress up. I want to create a costume where, one, it'll symbolize what I'm going to do to these enemies. And then number two, something that will, help them remember. So here he created a bat. He created his entire costume into a bat. So yeah, not only did he create that, he also had like an underground cave that had swarm of bats, just swarm of under his manor. So he thought to himself, he's going to put all his resources in creating the bat cave. And what do you know? This man spent more time in the bat cave than he does in his own house. And with his butler, Alfred, Alfred didn't like the idea of Bruce doing this, but of course, being his butler, he supported him. So here, this is where Batman's crusade started. This is a man who used his wealth and resources to transform him into a crime fighter. And so from there on, he went around Gotham taking down all kinds of thugs and thieves and murderers. And not only that, he's also considered the world's greatest detective. He pretty much just solves all crimes that even the police, even the GCPD couldn't even solve. That's how smart he is. He was able to use what he know to solve crimes that even the police couldn't do. And of course, apprehend the suspect and of course bring them to jail and, justice and all that. So, but here's one thing about Batman that some people tend to forget. I mean, Batman is just an ordinary guy. He has no powers. His only power he has is his mental willpower. Is his determination to never give up. Batman is also one of the most dangerous heroes in the DC universe. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why he's considered the dangerous is because this man literally has all the prep time in the world. Like, he can figure out a way to defeat you without you even knowing. Like, he can study you, analyze your strengths, your weaknesses, and figure out how to exploit them. And, that's pretty much it. Like, he just knows how to exploit your weaknesses. He knows everything about you. He knows more about you than you know about yourself. And that's what makes him dangerous. Which is why a lot of his, rogues gallery, and not to get off topic, Batman does have a huge rogues gallery. Like, so huge to a point where it outshine like heroes like Superman's rogues gallery or the Flash. So yeah, Batman has a pretty interesting rogue gallery. And the thing about his rogues gallery is that majority of them are like doctors and psychiatrists and lunatics. So, and I'm gonna get to that in just a minute. So yes, Batman, he pretty much can study his enemy. He also had contingency plans to take down the entire Justice League. That's dangerous. Like, there was a comic and a movie based on this where Batman had contingency plans on every leaguer, like Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter. He even had one on Aquaman. And, the list goes on. Like, he had contingency plans on how to take down his former teammates. But there's a reason why he did that. Because, again, Batman is not only paranoid, but he wants to be prepared for what's come next. Because there could come a day where the Justice League will get mind control or they'll lose their way. And, they need someone to counteract that in order to keep, people safe from superpower beings. And, of course, Batman decided to come up with, contingency plans to take them down. But what happened was Ra's al Ghul, which is one of Batman's rogues gallery and one of his top villains, stole his plans and, used them against his former teammates. And of course, this plan almost worked. You see, when Batman created these contingency plans, they weren't meant to kill his enemies. They were more like to incapacitate them. But of course, Ra's al Ghul, used them to kill them. And this kind of angered his teammates because they felt like they lost trust with Batman. But come on, man, it's Batman. You're talking about a guy who pretty much had Darkseid's respect. And I'm going to get to that soon. But yeah, a god respected Batman. Metron respected Batman. Like, that's how dangerous this man is. Even Superman once said that Batman is one of the most dangerous humans on the planet. Because of the fact that he has contingency plans. He's always prepared. And if he's not, if you give him prep time, this man is unbelievable, like literally unbelievable. So yeah, the Justice League did not like that. They tried to kick Batman out of the league, but Batman decided to quit because they felt like if his methods wasn't good enough to like ensure that none of y'all will ever fall into evil, or you get mind control, no one can control you, then I'll quit myself. And right before Batman left the Watchtower, Superman respected Batman to a point where, if there's anyone in the world I would trust that would take me down, it would be you, because at least you would do what is necessary to save the world. So of course Superman gave Batman a piece of kryptonite, say that, I trust you with this. Even though all the other leaguers didn't agree with him, if you get Superman to respect you, that means something. And I also I know I said that Darkseid had respect Batman, and here's why I say this. Not Batman is willing to do what is necessary to accomplish his mission, even if it means like destroying an entire world. There was a movie called Batman Superman, or no, it was Superman and Batman Apocalypse, where Superman found out that he had a cousin. And then I mentioned about her yesterday, Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. So Kara Zor-El crash landed on Earth, and Superman was happy that he found another Kryptonian that survived that explosion. And so Batman, of course, being Batman, he wasn't too sure about who she was, what she was doing here, how she doesn't remember where why she crash landed on so and so. And of course, Superman being Superman, he trusted her. Knowing Batman, he didn't. So um they they realized that her powers, that she didn't know how to control her powers the way Superman does. So they sent her. Well, no, Batman called Wonder Woman to where they was going to take Supergirl to Themyscira, so where she can harness her power and learn self control. That was until Darkseid invaded and sent a army of Doomsdays to distract both Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and of course all of the Amazonian warriors on Themyscira, in order for Darkseid to kidnap Kara Zor-El. But Batman knew that this was a distraction, so he went after to find out what was happening, and then found out that Supergirl was kidnapped. So Darkseid had Supergirl, and little did they know, they decided to travel to Apokolips. And what happened? Darkseid used his mind control to turn Supergirl against him, and of course Supergirl and Superman were fighting. And Batman was like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to release Kara Zor-El, otherwise I'm gonna destroy your planet." Darkseid looked at Batman as like, "Oh, you're just bluffing." Until Batman said a code that Darkseid remembered, said Omega Alpha 97. And I was like, "Oh, this man is not serious." Darkseid looked at him and said, "I heard about your Omega spores. I heard that one can turn off a fire pit on your planet. Imagine if 500 went off simultaneously." This angered Darkseid to where Darkseid attacked Batman. And knowing Batman, he had no powers, but he used, of course, his mental intellect. Because he knew that if he can get a villain to bluff that much, then he, would fall. So Darkseid told Batman to defuse the bombs. He said, "I will, only if you let go of Kara Zor-El." So Darkseid looked at him as like, "Okay, well played. Well played." He said, "If the Kryptonian or the Amazonian took in that gamble, they would have lost. But you, a human, you're willing to sacrifice anything to accomplish a mission? An admirable quality." He respected that. He respected so much that, and also another movie, which was called Justice League Dark Apokolips War, that recently came out last year. This is a very dark movie, a very dark and brutal movie, but I'm not going to spoil anything. But I will say that Batman, you will see why Batman was dangerous in this movie if you want to watch it. But for those who don't want to watch it, I will just say that Batman was able to use the Morbius chair. Yes, a Morbius chair. A mere mortal able to use a god-like chair. Yeah, that's how dangerous he was. So, yeah, Batman is a very popular character. Like, you see him almost anywhere. And and also to mention, he even had sidekicks. He had Robins. Yes, there was Batman and Robin. Yeah, Batman has a sidekick named Robin. But one thing you probably don't know is that Batman had more than one Robin. He had a total of, I would say, 6 Robins. 6 Robins. And let me go ahead and tell you the list. The first Robin name was Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson was kind of like Bruce Wayne when he was young. He had his parents. He was at a circus. One day, a killer killed both of his parents during a act, and Bruce seeing this young boy going through the same thing he went through, Bruce decided to adopt a young Dick Grayson into his family to where he decided to, wanted to fight crime. And why is because Dick Grayson found out that Bruce Wayne was Batman. So when that happened, Dick wanted to be part of the crusade, and only because he wanted to go after the man responsible for his family, for his parents' death. So he decided to dress up in his circus outfit, but also put on a cape and a mask and call himself Robin. So after he brought his killer to justice, he decided, why don't we just fight crime together? Be the dynamic duo, which that's where you get the name from, the dynamic duo. So throughout the years, Batman and Robin's pretty much been stopping crime within Gotham up until Dick decided to grow. When Dick was growing up, he realized that he wanted to have his own identity. He didn't want to be under Batman's shadow. So by the time he turned 18, he got rid of the Robin moniker and decided to take up a new moniker by the name of Nightwing, which he got the name Nightwing from Superman because Superman once told him that there was like a savior on Krypton by the name of Nightwing. And so that's where Dick Grayson got his name from, was from Superman. The second Robin was Jason Todd. A lot of people didn't like Jason Todd because they liked Dick Grayson, Robin, so much that they did not want anyone else to take up the mantle. So when the writers decided to come up with a new Robin by the name of Jason Todd, a lot of them were like, hey, we don't like this Robin. Why don't you just kill him off? Yada, yada, woo woo. So the writers came up with a story called Death in the Family, which is very dark for a Batman story. This is one of Batman's greatest mistakes, or failures, I would say. So one day, Batman and, of course, Jason Todd Robin. Well, actually, I forgot to tell you how Batman found Jason. One day, Batman was going to the Batmobile when he realized that a young boy was trying to take the tires off the Batmobile. And Batman was looking at the boy as if like the boy needed some direction. He was out here stealing, doing all this, getting into trouble. So Batman took him in and decided to make him the second Robin. So while they were fighting crime, Jason developed like an anger issue to where instead of like beating up the criminals, he decided to leave them in like agonizing pain, like breaking the bones more and shattering collarbones, trying to break a skull, all of that. It's all the anger that Jason had was very dangerous for him because it would have made him his own worst enemy. So one day while they were fighting crime, they were trying to fight the Joker, but the Joker escaped. So Jason decided to go after the Joker while Batman was still fighting off some of Joker's goons. But around this time, Joker ambushed Robin by knocking him out with a crowbar, tying him up and taking him somewhere in Africa. Like this clown Joker, everyone knows who the Joker is. Batman's arch enemy, greatest villain, of course, which for a clown, you would think that he's all about jokes, but this man, he literally kidnapped Batman's sidekick, took him all the way across from the country, or across the world, not the country, across the world to like Africa, to like an abandoned building, beat Jason to death with a crowbar. And what made things worse is that Batman traveled that way to go save Robin, but it was too late because Joker had already set bombs in that warehouse. And right before Batman was about to go, an explosion happened, killing Jason Todd. This is where readers were like, okay, there were some readers who was a little bit satisfied, but then there were some like, okay, this was too dark. Like we wanted him to be written off. We didn't want him to die that way. But yeah, Jason died. This is one of Batman's turning points in his crime fighting career, because this is the first time that someone that fought alongside him died in the hands of the Joker. So Batman felt so guilty to a point where he kept the damaged Robin suit that Jason wore in a glass case as a reminder that he will not fail anyone else ever again. He felt that he should have taken care of this instead of letting Jason go after it. And to this day, he still considered this as his greatest failure. So this made Bruce a little bit more darker, more brutal than he was before, because having someone like Robin next to him was what kept him balanced. But, considering that Jason died, this made Batman more dangerous, like more and more dangerous. Like he was breaking more bones, like literally like leaving his victims like wounded badly, and this was even beginning to scare not only the GCPD itself, but Jim Gordon and Alfred. Like they was worried because Bruce lost a Robin, and this devastated him deeply. And the third Robin. Well, actually, let me tell you more about Jason. Jason ended up coming back to life, but it was only with the Lazarus Pit. But what happened was when Jason was brought back to life, this made him even more crazier and more dangerous because not only was he brought back from the dead, but it's also altered his mind to where he felt like killing criminals was the best idea instead of just beating them up and locking them away. As you can tell, Batman has fought Joker so many times and locked them up, and Joker escaped so many times that he's killed more innocents than Batman has put him, in prison. So Jason felt as if it was that time that he decided to take matters in his own hands and, kill him. Of course, Batman wouldn't allow it, but, Jason pretty much had points about why he felt he should kill him because, no matter how many times you put a criminal behind bars, they're going to keep escaping and kill more and more people. Jason thought or believed in that if he did this, there won't have to be no more families losing family members, no catastrophes, no more bombing, no more escapes from prison because of a crazy clown out here killing everybody. So Jason donned the moniker of the Red Hood and decided to become an anti-hero, just killing everyone. The third Robin is Tim Drake, who Tim Drake is actually one of the brainy Robins because he actually found out who Batman and Robin was. And he did his own little detective skill and figured out that it was Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. So this impressed Bruce to where he decided to take this Robin in at first, because at first he didn't want to take another sidekick after the death of Jason Todd, but Tim Drake earned his stripes to become the new Robin. And so the new dynamic duo, this pretty much helped Bruce relieve some of that anger that he had within him, because at least he had another Robin to bring him into the light so it doesn't, take him down into darkness. The fourth Robin is Stephanie Brown, who briefly was Robin at a time, but a lot of people tend to forget about that. So I do include her because she was a Robin at the time. She was actually the daughter of the villain Clue Master, who took on the name Spoiler until she became the new Robin when Tim Drake was absent. But she went back to being Spoiler when Tim Drake came back and became Robin again, which he changed his name to Red Robin when he joined the Teen Titans. But again, that's another story. The fourth Robin is, of course, Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne is the biological son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul. Talia al Ghul is the daughter of the Demon's Head, Ra's al Ghul, who is leader of the League of Assassins, which Bruce trained a long time ago. But yeah, one night in Metropolis, Talia drugged Bruce into sleeping with her, took his DNA and put his DNA in an artificial womb to where they brought Damian Wayne to life. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It is like, this man, you stole this man's DNA and you put it in an artificial tube, and here you are, you got a baby now. He's more dangerous than you would think, because this boy was trained in the League of Assassins at a very young age. So yeah, Damian Wayne, he's a very skilled Robin, because not only was he trained by the League of Assassins, but he was also trained by his grandfather, Ra's al Ghul. This would make him a little dangerous. And also, he doesn't mind killing his enemies. He's almost the same as Jason Todd. But he was born into, killing his enemies for the greater good, whereas Jason was wanted to kill his enemies because he was angry that Bruce didn't save him in time. So that's 5 Robins that I've talked about. The last Robin I want to talk to you guys about, which happens in the Dark Knight Returns comic and the Dark Knight Returns movie, Carrie Kelly. This is years when Bruce Wayne is like 50 some years old, 55 years old in this alternate universe, and he's retired. He's not Batman anymore. And when time came for him to don the costume again, Carrie Kelly is a female, another female who decided to become Robin during this universe, and she wanted to become Robin because she felt like Batman needs a Robin. Now, if for those who haven't seen The Dark Knight Returns, it's a very dark movie. Actually, matter of fact, if you've seen Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, most of most of that material came from that comic series, The Dark Knight Returns. Everything that Zack Snyder did in that movie, he got from The Dark Knight Returns, along with the Death of Superman storyline. So he took two storylines, combined them into one, which is why you got uh, that, Batman versus Superman, which a lot of people don't like, which I consider that one of my favorite movies of all time, because I can see the direction that he was going with. But yeah, Batman is a very interesting character, and he's more popular than, like, say, Iron Man in a way. But um I would say him and Spider Man are like neck and neck with each other, next to Superman. All three of those are like the top three big comic book heroes. They're like the big trinity of comics. So yeah, that's one reason why I like Batman, is because this man doesn't have powers, but he's willing to go toe to toe against beings who do, and outsmart them. He's even fought a lot of villains who matched him in combat skills, intellectual skills, even even wealth, because he's also fought enemies that had money too. He was able to take them down. He's actually one of the smartest men in the DC universe, next to like Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor has a 12th level intellect, but there's a different type of intelligence that Bruce has. So that's why I consider Batman one of my favorites, and it's because not only is it because I grew up watching the Batman animated series, because I can watch that all day. Same with the Superman animated series. Those two, along with reading comics, is the reason why I like both Batman and Superman. If you had to ask me who would I choose between the two, I couldn't give you that answer, because I like both of them. I like both heroes. And it's really hard to choose between the two, because each of them are like a polar opposite. They're like yin and yang. One fights in the day, one fights at night. One fights for truth, the other one fights for justice. Like, they, even though both of them are different, they both polar cancel each other out, and they even consider themselves best friends. Superman and Batman consider themselves best friends, which is why I like their dynamic, because if there's something that Superman can't do, Batman will step in. If there's something that Batman can't do, Superman will step in. So that's another thing why I like them, is because they bring a lot to the table, especially when it comes to them working with the Justice League. Like, they have so much history together. It's like they can go grab dinner together. Like, Batman always know that Superman always order what did he always order, like, this same meal every time they go out to eat, and Batman's like, you do realize you order the same thing every time we come here, right? So that's how you know that they're best friends, because they know what they both like. And even when, like, Batman is down, Superman's there to give light to him, to reassure him that no matter how far in the darkness you go in, you have people to help you. And there's this one quote that I will remember, that well, actually it's two quotes, and this is actually from one of the Batman games, Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins is one of my favorite games, but I'll talk about that in another video. There was a quote that Bruce said, and then there was a quote that Alfred had said. And I'm gonna start with the one that Bruce said. Bruce and Alfred had an argument one day where Alfred was worried for Bruce's safety. So Alfred didn't want Batman to go back out and fight crime again. So Bruce had said, "Do you remember the boy whose shoe you used to tie? The boy you first drove to his first date? While you're in here, I am out there. I am the reason why criminals." Don't quote me on that. He said, Alfred had said, "You may be," and Bruce was like, "No, not maybe, I am. When a mugger or a thief stop to think twice, that is fear. That is the reason why criminals breathe either when the sun rises. I'm the reason what makes them scared when they see me. I'm the reason what makes them lose their focus the moment they see me." And then another quote that Alfred had said was, "You cannot." Bruce was worried that he couldn't defend Gotham at the time, so Alfred reassured him and said, "You got sometimes it's time you realize that you are a man and not an island. And a man's strength does not come just from bronze or intelligence, but also from his allies. So real strength that Batman has comes from the allies that he works with. Because if he considered to work alone, he would have become more and more dark and brooding, which is why um having a support system like having Robins and having Alfred, having a Justice League next to him is a reason what keeps Batman from going into the darkness. It pretty much canceled each other out. And that's why a lot of the members of the Justice League respects Batman due to the fact that yeah, he there are times where he has his moments, but he deep down he wants to do what's right. He never wants to fall into evil. So again, that is why I like Batman. And another reason why I like Superman. So I hope you guys got enough information on that. And I got more videos coming in on other heroes that I like, my opinions on them, my thoughts. So just stay around, like, subscribe, and leave a comment.